Welcome to the Real World EV Efficiency Test. This week we have the 2024 Nissan Ariya Platinum Plus E-Force all-wheel drive. Now this is supposed to get 267 miles of range on an 87 kilowatt hour usable battery. Now, that is going to equate to about 3.07 miles per kilowatt hour. So that's what we should average on this test. That's what we're shooting for. We'll have to see whether we get better than that, less than that, but either way, let's take a look at this real quick before we head to the, well, we don't actually head to the gas, well, we do head to the gas station because that's where our starting point is, but we're not gonna get gas there, obviously. As I mentioned, this is the Platinum Plus E-Force all-wheel drive. It's a 90 kilowatt hour battery, 87 kilowatt hours is usable, 267 miles of range. This is on the 19-inch wheels. You go up to the 20-inch wheels, you'll drop down to 257 miles. Now let's take a look at the cargo space back here. Pop that open, and there you can see how much space there is, even with the seats down. I'll put those seats up for you. So there you can see how much space you do have back here. It is really good. This does have a cargo shelf or cover on this one also that I actually took off. But you do have a lot of space in here, and you do have multiple openings here. So there's your tire stuff, and I think I see a Bose subsystem there. You do have a little bit of room right here. It's probably your charging cord. You got some room on each side to put some items, and then you do have some little hooks right there to tie onto, and then your cover goes right there. Let's take a look at the back. It does have full leather seats, and the stitching on it looks awesome. Yes, these seats are blue. It's a calm blue. It's not extremely bright. It looks a little bit brighter on camera, but really nice. You do have heated seats back here also, along with USBs to charge everything, and of course your flat floor. Go take a look at the front. All right, here is the front. Of course, I got my drinks for the trip. There is your screens across there and the steering wheel. Look at that. That floor is completely flat, wide open, a lot of space, and the center console does actually move back and forth, which is nice because you can get that situated for your arm if you need to. Do have some Alcantara and or suede going around here and around the dash here. It looks really nice. There is a little bit about this car. If you want to see more, you can watch the full review that's on the channel right now. It will be linked at the end of this video also. So let's head to the gas station because that's our starting point. And we're gonna drive the same route that we do with all of our gas vehicles also, and we're just gonna check the efficiency of this. So let's head to the gas station, to our starting point, and then I will reset everything and we'll be ready to go. Okay, we are at the gas station at our starting point where we start all these tests, electric or gas. So we run the same route the entire time. All right, so let's get everything reset, and then I will give you parameters about this test on the way to our first town. Okay, we are on economy. We're going to manually reset this. Hopefully, I think it will reset this over here also at the same time. We'll go down to all items. Confirm reset. Yes. Okay. Everything is reset, so we are ready to go. So here's the parameters of the test, kind of just how we do things. Same test that we do with our gas vehicles, same route, everything. And we're going to drive 100 miles, 50 miles in one direction and 50 miles in the exact opposite direction. We're going to drive through 2 towns on the way there, the same 2 towns on the way back. We'll make loops through each one of those towns each time we go through them to hit stop signs, stop lights, a little bit of traffic, kind of get some real world driving in. And then we'll go up onto the interstate We'll spend about 10 to 12 miles on the interstate. That'll be our 50-mile marker. We'll turn around and then we'll come back and do all of that the same, just in a reverse order. And we'll go back to the gas station where we'll end our test. Then we'll take the miles per kilowatt hour and compare that to what the EPA states that we're supposed to get. There's 3 settings that we use in this car. There's actually going to be 4 on the electric. So first off, we leave it in normal mode. We don't put it in eco. We don't put it in sport. We don't want to minimize or maximize the efficiency of this vehicle. We want it to be what you would normally just get in and drive. So that's the way that's going to be. Now, the difference with that is it is set in B mode. This has a drive mode and a B mode, which is basically regenerative braking. We turn on the regenerative braking because if you are going to own one of these, yes, at the beginning, you may not be real comfortable with it, but you will get used to it and you will enjoy using that because you're recouping energy and putting it back into your battery, which is going to help you with your range. So we'll have that on, and then temperature in here is set at 70 degrees and it is 62 degrees outside right now. Little to no wind at all, so that's really, really good. The last thing is we drive 5 miles per hour over the speed limit because that is the average of what most people do. So we will have 60 on the highway, between 35 and 50 in town, and 75 on the interstate. And that's pretty much it. We're getting ready to enter town, so I'm going to give you an update of where we're at. All right, we have came into town and we're averaging 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour, and we have driven 4.8 miles. So we're supposed to average 3.07, so we're a little behind that right now, but we should gain some of that driving through town. We're going to make a loop through this town, and then I will update you again as we head back out onto the highway. We just left town. We're back out onto the highway now. And so far, we are 3 miles per kilowatt hour, so it's pretty much right on where we're supposed to be, and 8.4 miles driven. We're heading to our next town, and I'm going to give you some more information about this Nissan Ariya on the way, and when we get to that next town, I will give you another update. This is my first experience with a Nissan Ariya. I mean, I have been in one at shows and stuff like that, but this is the first time I've gotten to drive one, and it drives really nice. It feels good. It looks good in here. One thing that I really liked was all of the kind of wood grain going through this car, and how the buttons, the haptic buttons, were actually integrated into the wood grain dash and stuff like that. I just thought it was awesome. Even if it isn't real wood, it just feels great. It feels like real wood. It's really nice. I know this isn't here, but this up on the dash really feels like real wood. I like the way the screens are laid out. They look really good. This one in front of me is nice. You can see everything. It's bright. It's colorful. You can set up a lot of different things. You do have, your range, and you have your battery percentage, which is good. It has both of those on there, and everything else that you need to know is on that screen. So it's very, very intuitive, very helpful. Now the infotainment screen, compared to others, it looks a little on the small side, but actually it's good. I like it being smaller because it doesn't intrude on your vision and it doesn't distract you so much. The other thing that I have to say is that these seats sit a little high. You sit a little high here because I can just see over everything. I see over the dash. I see everything. It's just, it's actually nice sitting up this high. It does have a heads-up display that is very, very bright and vibrant, and I'll show that a little bit later. The only problem so far that I have come across is that I feel like the armrest on the door is too low. I feel like my elbow is too low for the car because I like to hold the steering wheel about right here on the side. And when I do that, I can't rest my elbow. I have to put my elbow clear down here, and then I can only hold the bottom of the steering wheel, unless I bring the steering wheel down lower, and then it's going to block part of my vision of the driver's display. So I've got it positioned about the best that I possibly can. Now I do have my knee up here that I'm actually using to rest my hand on, so that makes it a little bit more comfortable, and I can handle that. I can deal with that. Now, I might be a little bit different for other people. Their arms may sit in here just fine, but for me, that is something that I noticed that made me feel a little awkward in here. This one comes with a 90 kilowatt hour battery. It's 87 kilowatt hour usable. This also is the all-wheel drive e-Force, and you get 389 horsepower out of this, which is really good. I think 0 to 60 somewhere around 5 to 5.5 seconds, which is phenomenal for this car. It's really good. Now, the efficiency is 267 miles. So you get 267 miles out of this is what the EPA has rated this. And we're going to see with the efficiency if we technically would calculate out more than that. Everything has been driving really smooth. The ride feels really good. It feels a little heavy, but not too bad. It definitely feels and drives like it's a little heavier than my experience with the ID4 that we had for over a year. But otherwise, I feel comfortable in here. It's nice. It feels good. I wouldn't be scared to go around a corner fast, but it just feels like it is a little heavier. But that might be because it does have a little bit bigger battery. The seats in here feel pretty comfortable. I like them. I really like the stitching in the leather is really good. It is nice and airy. It does feel pretty open in here. The flat floors. There's nothing here in front of me, which is really nice. I could actually just get up and slide into the passenger seat if I needed to without moving. And this center armrest actually moves back and forth also, so that's a plus if you need to do something like that. You can kind of just move things around. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the pricing, because with this Ariya, they have, I think, somewhere around 6 to 8 different trim levels that you can get. So the base model is the Engage, and it is front wheel drive. You get a 64 kilowatt hour battery, and you can go about 216 miles. So if you don't have a lot of traveling to do and you don't have a big commute that you have to do on a daily basis, that probably is sufficient enough for you. And that's going to start at $39,590. So under $40,000, and you get into the base model of this. So the next one is going to be the one that gives you the most range, and that's going to be the Venture Plus front wheel drive. It gets the 87 kilowatt hour battery, and it's going to give you a range of about 304 miles. That is awesome if you need it for taking long trips, or you have a lot of driving that you do consistently. That is going to come in at just over $40,000 with $41,190. So then we're going to jump up to this Platinum all-wheel drive. Is going to start at $54,190. The one that we're sitting in with all of its options, we're going to be looking at $56,940. Okay, so we are getting ready to come into our next town, so I am going to give you an update. We've entered our second town. So right now we're at 3.4 miles per kilowatt hour, and we have driven 29.3 miles. All right, we are going to make a loop through this town, and then I will update you again before we get up on the interstate. All right, we're getting ready to get up on the interstate after making that loop through town. And right now we're at 3.4 miles per kilowatt hour and 36.2 miles. Okay, so we are going to get up on the interstate right here. All right, we're going to accelerate very quickly to hear some electric whine, maybe. Oh, yeah. That thing got right up, 75. All right. That's awesome. Yeah, this thing is quick. When you want it to be quick, it can be quick. Driving on the interstate now, and we are at 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour and 37.2 miles. Be driving a little while on here, and this does have hands-free driving available, so I'm going to give a little demonstration of that next. Okay, so we are now using Nissan's lane centering and hands-free driving. So you can see up there is the heads-up display. It's got everything lit up really nice. All right, we are going hands-free. So you can see that I am not touching anything, and we are just cruising down the road. All right, now this does have lane change assist. So I'm gonna press this button right here and see what happens. So we're gonna push this. And not doing it. Okay, so let's turn on the turn signal and see if we change lanes. No. Well, okay. Now it's telling me to put my hand on the wheel. Okay, so now it's moving over. Okay, I didn't do it. I'm just letting you know I didn't touch anything, but it moved over, and for some reason it dropped down to 50 miles per hour. I'm not sure what's going on there. So let's try this again. Lane change is on. I'm touching it, but I don't have to. So when I do the lane change and I press it down, okay, it says check traffic. Okay, it's going over. I'm not touching anything, and we are in the next lane. Then it wants me to grab the wheel. So I'm not real sure what that's about, but it's, yeah, I don't know if it, because it touches the line, it wants me to grab the wheel, but it seems to work really well. We're going to do it one more time going the other direction. So this is like showing that I'm on the line, but I'm not actually on the line. See, now I'm over there on the line. So I'm not sure why that is lit up there. So, all right. We're all green, we're blue, no hands. All right, we're gonna do lane change. It's going, and it wants me to grab the wheel every time. I don't understand. Let's go. So, all right, there we go on its own. Over, we're lane centering, and see, it tells me to grab the wheel again. So that's really confusing. Anyway, it does it. It doesn't seem to be doing it the greatest way, but it does work. We're coming up on our turnaround point here on the interstate. Right now, we're averaging 3 miles per kilowatt hour and 49.8 miles driven, 49.9. We're going to hit 50 as we turn, so we're going to get off right here and pick up some regen all the way down on this ramp. We've been doing these tests more often on a Friday, so it has been a little busier now than when I used to run them on the weekends. But actually right now we got a little stop and go, and we can go right up here, go across, and then we'll go right back down the on-ramp on the other side. A little bit of traffic here, but most of that is because there is a tractor up there holding everybody up. Because, yep, we're in the Midwest, and that's the time of year it is right now. It's harvest time, and we have tractors on our highways. So we have to share that a little bit. So they tend to hold up some traffic. We're going back down and getting back on the interstate. So as soon as we straighten out here, I'll give some gas, and you guys can maybe hear a little bit of electric whine. All right. Ready? Let's go. Woo! Yeah, I'm already, wow. Yeah, I was already at 80. Holy crap. This thing will go. I am super impressed by that. I really was not expecting it to, get up to speed that quick. Wow. It just, from the outside, when you look at this thing, it doesn't look like you're going to pull that kind of speed out of this, but it has it. So anyway, I'm going to update you guys. Well, I'll go ahead and update you real quick right now. You got 3 miles per kilowatt hour and 51.8 miles. I will update you again as we get ready to get off the interstate and head back into town. All right, here's our exit that we're going to get off the interstate, and right now we're at 2.9 miles per kilowatt hour, so we lost a lot on the interstate, but that's what happens with electric cars. 64.2 miles total. So we're going to be heading back into town now, and we're going to make a loop through this town, so I will update you again after that loop. If you guys have been kind of keeping up on some of this when I get off the interstate, look at all this development now that has come. We do have stores open. We've got our first Chick-fil-A. So yeah, this is really becoming something in this area. All right, I will update you after the loop. We made that loop through town and we're heading back out onto the highway. So right now we are at 3 miles per kilowatt hour. So it's right at where it should be. 72 miles driven. So we are headed to our next town, and as soon as we get there, I will give you an update. Okay, we're entering our last town now. So far, we're averaging 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour, and we're at 93.1 miles. We're gonna make a loop through this town, and then I will give you an update when we get back out on the highway and head back to the gas station, which is our ending point. We made the loop through town. We're back out on the highway, headed back to the gas station, which is where our ending point is. And so far, still, we're at 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour at 97.2 miles. So we'll get back there. Looks like we're going to settle in right about 3.1. We'll see if maybe it stretches to 3.2, but then we will look at that and we'll know that that's above what the EPA says, but we'll do a calculation on what that means in miles of range that you could get out of this. All right, I will give you the final results when we get to the gas station. All right, we are back at the gas station, as you can see, and here's our final results. 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour and 100.7 miles. And now I'm going to do a calculation and see what that means for your range. All right, we're going to calculate the 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour, and we're going to multiply that by the 87 kilowatt hour battery, and that's going to actually give us 269.7. So basically 270 miles, and this is saying 267. So yeah, so it can do what it's supposed to. So like I said, it calculates out to 3.07, and this is at 3.1, so it's really close, which is why your miles are so close on there. So the 2024 Nissan Ariya Platinum Plus E-Force all-wheel drive real-world EV efficiency test results are 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour, which would result in about 270 miles of range. All right, I hope you guys enjoy this. If you did, hit that like button for me. Consider subscribing so you don't miss any more of these, and then click on one of the videos. It's up on the screen. One is the review of this Nissan Ariya, and the other one YouTube chose for you. I think you're gonna enjoy them both. You have a blessed day, and I will see you in that next video.